Alright then guys, welcome to the FU Basics module, section 1. We're going to be covering infantry and basic keybinds. In this module we will be covering the important keybinds in Planetside, the spawn system, squad and general, roles of infantry classes within the Freelancers Union, recommended infantry loadouts for squad play and platoon play, various implants, Sunderer loadouts, game settings, and how to install recursion and overwolf. Moving on to slide 3. Keybinds that are going to be used in Planetside and especially in squad play. The U is the redeploy key. When you press redeploy, you'll have a 10-second timer. If you get shot or shoot enemy players within this 10 seconds, the redeploy will stop. Instant action has a 10-second cooldown, the same as redeploy, and will send you directly to a base, whereas redeploy will send you to the spawn screen. Map is obviously how you access your map. Very important for squad players. Q, which is spotting enemy targets. Try to do that whilst they're outside to give intel on where they're which door they're going to come through and what infantry unit they are. F is your ability, which is going to be used for your cloak, your AoE heal, and your overshield, and any fire suppression or GSD on vehicles. Grenade is how you're going to use any grenade that you've got equipped on any infantry loadout. H is to expand the minimap to make it bigger. It'll allow you to see the population in the hex and allow you to see your ISO 4 score without having to go into the ISO 4 menu. Page down is the vehicle ownership menu. When you own a vehicle, you're going to be able to press page down. You can either squad lock it completely, unlock it, or kick individual members out of your vehicle that you own. /AFK, it basically allows you to be AFK longer, and so it allows you to go for a drink, go to the toilet without having to worry about getting kicked out of the game. Is there any questions about keybinds at the moment? Awesome. Right then, we're now going to go over the squad spawn system in Planetside and how squad spawning works. So squad spawns are at the top of the spawn list. As you see by the screenshot on the right, it's the green spawn options. They are either a base, where your platoon leader or squad leader has recently just spawned at, a friendly's vehicle, which could be a Galaxy, a Valkyrie, or a Sunderer, and it could also be a beacon, which has been placed down. Other squad spawns would be any vehicle with a logistics specialist implant, so that means you can spawn into a liberator or a harasser whilst the driver of the vehicle has that implant equipped. Your green circles on your map is for your base spawns, your routers, your spawn tubes, your teleporters. The green boxes are like your AMS, are your deployed Sunderers, not your moving Sunderers. And then at the bottom right of when you're in the deploy screen, you can either double tap on standard or squad spawns and you'll spawn into the vehicle, or you could click on it, make it highlighted like on the screenshot at my Sunderer, and then in the bottom, I think it's in the bottom left, it says the deploy, and that'll spawn into that location. With routers, they are constructible along with spawn tubes. Routers are a little pad that can be placed anywhere on the map. They are very small. They can allow you to spawn in if you're within 300 meters. They also can be destroyed very easily. I think one rocket, one C4, or like half a magazine can kill one, so they're very weak. They do cost, I think, 500 certs and are in the base module. If someone says spawn out a router, it's just so you know what it is. You're not expected to purchase a router for yourself, as it costs a lot of certs and it requires you to get into construction. And is there any questions about the squad spawn system? Okay, good. So, the roles of infantry within Freelancers Union. The Infiltrator is going to be used mainly when requested by a squad leader to hack a terminal and spawn a Sunderer from behind enemy lines. And the second thing is going to be for recon. The recon is Very important for understanding how many enemies are going to be coming towards a point. Very nice in small pop fights because it can tell you literally exactly where the enemy is. In big pop fights it just increases the stuff on your minimap. The light assault isn't really used in squad and platoon play, but it's very good for flanking and bases which are like a tower base, a base which requires you to get onto the roof of something. The combat medic is going to be used probably mainly. I think it's the most played class in FU. It's going to be used for your healing, your revives, and obviously its combination with the heavy assault and the power that can come in squad play. The engineers are going to be used in max play. It's going to be used to repair maxes, be with maxes, resupply the squad, and it's going to be used in vehicle play when you're piloting or driving or gunning a vehicle. The heavy assault, it's got the biggest LMGs, so you've got weapons like the MSWR and the Carve, which do a lot of damage. You can have either close range, long range. You've got the overshield, so you have a lot of extra health. You're normally the first guy through the door, so if your squad leader says push, and if you're a heavy, you go through first, you don't wait for anyone else. Unless there's a max, obviously, then the max goes first. The max requires resources. It requires 450 resources. It's very weak by itself, which is what we'll cover about maxes, and with a squad member it can become very, very, very difficult to kill. Before we go over infantry loadouts, we're going to go over a weapon which can be considered an upgrade. The Commissioner is going to be the recommended choice. There is a variant, the Underboss, which if you have any questions will be gone over. With the Commissioner it can one-shot, headshot infiltrators, and it allows you, with the loadout we recommend, with a dark light to see any enemy infiltrators. It also does a lot of damage and can two-shot any enemy in the game. Is there any questions about the roles of infantry and the Commissioner? Okay, cool. So the first class that we're going to cover is the combat medic. The combat medic has a few different loadouts. The first is going to be the CQC loadout, and the second is going to be the shield bubble loadout. For both loadouts, the weapons are the same. There's only a few differences. So the weapon is the TAR. The TAR is very good in close quarters. It's hip fire focused, so you're not meant to ADS, which is aim down sights. The secondary is going to be the Commissioner or the Underboss, as shown by the bubble loadout. It can be either or. The medical applicator, we recommend you max out first, and if you're a new player it probably should be the thing you cert into first. I forgot to mention that the TAR AE is 650 certs if I'm not mistaken. The ability slot is the nano regen device. It's an AoE heal. It stacks with the implant, which we're going to discuss, which is going to be combat surgeon. It basically heals everyone around, so it allows you to have your gun out whilst healing your friendlies. The grenade bandolier is going to be very helpful to combine with the revive grenades or resnades. They are a grenade which after 3 seconds they blow up and don't do any damage, and they revive anyone within a certain meter radius. The C4 is going to be used for your utility. It'll allow you to counter maxes, vehicles, and clearing points fast around the corner. So the difference is now is going to be the shield bubble. This is going to be restoring shields, not health. But apart from that, basically the loadout stays the same. We're going to go over the medic's implants once we've finished all the infantry classes. But just to know, if you look at the symbol of the implant and then go to the slide of the implants when we finish the module, you'll be able to realise which implants are which. The passive system of the medic is going to be called triage. Basically, when you're in a vehicle, it heals allies around the vehicle within 5 meters. Not really that useful. I haven't certed it. I don't think many people cert it, because why are you a medic when you're in a vehicle? And that, I think, covers the medic. Is there any questions about the combat medic?
The tar AE doesn't seem to be purchasable. I can't find. I can see
sorry.
the tar.
Yes. The tar is one I bought. The tar is just a normal weapon. It's the exact same as the tar AE. The tar AE just has a special camouflage over the top of it. With the tar, I forgot to mention about the soft point ammunition. It says in the speaker notes the definition of soft point ammo. It basically, with weapons, there's something called the damage model, which means that it does the highest amount of damage further, so there's more range for you to do the highest amount of damage possible, but it reduces your velocity, so try not to go with your long range loadout with the tar. Any other questions about the medic? Okay, cool. Moving on to the heavy assault. So the heavy assault, the loadout is mainly for close quarters and generalized loadouts. The MSWR is considered the best close quarters combat LMG in the game, and especially for TR. You're going to be using the laser sight, because hipfire is very powerful in this weapon. I think within 10 meters, I would say you always hipfire, unless the target is past 10 meters, or maybe even 15, you then start to hipfire. Your commissioner is very useful for killing infiltrators, finding infiltrators, and as a quick secondary to pull out. The decimator is the best rocket launcher overall, because it can one-shot an infantry, two-shot a max, and one-shot a plane. The other option that we're going to recommend is called the Striker. It's a 6-magazine heat lock-on to aircraft. It'll be recommended if you're going to go into the fur module and if you want to do air deterrence as your heavy assault. The overshield is going to be the adrenaline shield. It recharges faster over a kill, but it has a slower recharge when you're not killing people. So basically you get more out of it when you get more kills. The nanoweave armor becomes a standard, and it's the best option because it reduces your damage that you take. The concussion grenades are going to be what's going to be used when you breach a room. So when you're standing outside, you'll throw a concussion grenade, wait for it to explode, then you'll go in. Medkit's going to be used to make you even more tanky, and the implants used for heavy assault is the Assimilate and Survivalist, which we will cover in the implant section. Is there any questions about heavy assault?
User joined your channel.
Hello. Hey, Oxy. Okay, so we'll move on to the engineer then. The engineer is obviously, as I said earlier, going to be used as a max buddy. The squad play loadout in the screenshot is a endgame loadout, which you're going to be using as a max buddy. The Track 5 or the Kindred if you want to upgrade. The Commissioner for obviously seeing infiltrators. The Nano armor kit needs to be maxed out so you can repair the most. The Spitfire auto turret is the ability slot. That is the turret which basically is going to be used to cover your rear. It's so that if you're holding up room, you have that at the back of the room, so when someone comes in the door behind you, you know where that enemy is going to be. The grenade bandolier is going to be used if you like using sticky grenades. Flak armor is going to be prioritized if you're in a point hold. I would recommend you max out flak armor first, because the damage from grenades is drastically reduced. The reserved hardlight barrier is going to be used on a doorway. It makes enemies have to jump over it, which reduces their aim, making them very easy to kill, and it's good to reduce the hitbox of your max. The implants recommended are robotics tech and infantry, and survivalist, for infantry play. If you're a driver, you're also going to be using an engineer. You can use a carbine, or you can use the anti-material rifle, the Archer. The Commissioner is obviously your main secondary weapon choice. You keep the Spitfire auto turret, so if you're camping a location, you put that turret next to you, so it'll start shooting the light assault, so you know there's a light assault there that's about to C4 you. You switch to Grenade Bandolier with repair grenades, so you have increased repairing chance, and you also switch your reserved hardlight barrier to tank mines, switching the implants to Sweeper, Hood and Ammo Printer. The passive systems of Engineer that you can level up are Aircraft Synergy. Basically it means that if you upgrade it, any aircraft that you fly in can have rank 1 auto repair, apart from Valkyrie. And a passive system for the Engineer which you can't upgrade is basically the shields of an Engineer regenerate 2 seconds faster than every other class in the game. Is there any questions about the Engineer?
The Archer, in terms of damage, how much are we talking about?
It's been scaled down, so it's not good against infantry. It can 3-shot a max, which is very nice, but apart from that, if you're using the Archer in infantry combat, you'll be using your Commissioner a lot. I wouldn't recommend using the Archer.
No, I mean, I'm thinking about purchasing it for vehicles, but I want to know how much damage.
It's good as a deterrent. It's good to finish off vehicles. So if you're in a 1v1 fight, you then, if you die, the enemy will be on low health, and you pull out your Archer, and it's good for finishing stuff. But apart from that, it's basically tickle damage.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Any other questions about the Engineer? Okay, cool. Let's move on to max. So, maxes are going to be used in max pairs. The recommended weapons that we use are going to be the Mercies. The Mercies both cost 1,000 certs each, so we recommend that if you want to go into max, we recommend you play as an NG for a max for a longer period of time to get the certs. There is cheaper options if you want to speak to max players within the outfit, but they're the best overall. The emergency repair or fire suppression is going to be used to emergency heal you if your engineer's not there, or if you need a quick burst of health. The ordnance armor reduces the damage you take from C4. The thing about the max is you need to stay communicated with the engineer. If your engineer dies, you're going to die very quickly. A magazine to the head of a max does a lot of damage, and 2 direct hits with a decimator will also kill a max. The implants that are going to be used on max are going to be Salvage and Sweeper Hood, we think. Is there any questions about playing max? Okay, cool. So, Infiltrator. The 2 loadouts that we recommend for Infiltrator are going to be your closer range hacking loadout and your long range sniping loadout. The SMG is whatever you choose. We think the Armistice or the PDW are the better options. The Commissioner is good for seeing enemy infiltrators. The darts are going to be used to for the recon for the squad. The Hunter Cloak is so you can stay cloaked the most. Adrenaline Pump allows you to run to terminals faster. EMP nades allow you to destroy mines, recon and shield bubbles. And the medkips helps keep you alive. The implants for that are going to be Sensor Shield and Assimilate, which we will cover in the implant section. I'm just going to quickly mention the passive system of an infiltrator. If you level it up, you're going to hack terminals up to 50% faster. It's very nice if you like playing infiltrator, and you often find yourself being the person when your squad leader asks, "Can someone hack me out a terminal?" If you do that, you'll just get the Sunderer up a tiny bit faster, which is always nice. For long range, the recommended sniper rifle is either the Rams or the MM7B. The underboss is a bit better for this situation because you're in close quarters, and if you get jumped, you want that rapid fire, not the high damage of the Commissioner. The tool slot keeps the same. Actually, the rest of the loadout keeps the same apart from the implants. The implants change to target focus because any weapon with a zoom larger than 4 times has bullets as a scope sway, and ammo printer to keep your ammunition at full. Is there any questions about the Infiltrator?
No question from my end, but TJ, it seems you disconnected from the game.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah,
Oh well.
just figured I'd point it out.
Lovely. Right, the light assault. The light assault is going to be not requested that often of you. When you do play light assault, we recommend you use the basic track 5, commissioner, the basic rocket rifle, the basic jump jets, nanoweave armor, flash grenades, C4, with the implants either Assimilate and Survivalist or Assimilate and Regeneration if there's no medics. Quick description of flash grenades is they have a 3-second detonation time before they blind everyone. So if you want to throw it into a room like a concussion grenade, it makes the enemies, basically useless. Is there any questions about light assault? Okay, cool. But now we're going to go over the implants in Planetside 2, which we'd recommend you use, and the ones that we showed in the infantry loadouts above. Implants are very specific. They help you enhance your loadout. If you get the right combination, they make your loadout very powerful. They're going to be unlocked using the green resource, ISO 4. To get this resource, you're going to be participating in alerts, completing basic directives, and that's about it. It's a the easiest way to get the resource is just to play the game. Don't focus on getting it, it'll come over time. So the following implants may be required to be max rank, which is rank 5. For every implant, please just refer to the Planetside 2 wiki page. In this module we're going to cover Assimilate, Survivalist, Combat Surgeon, Mending Field, Sensor Shield, Salvage and Ammo Printer. So, Assimilate. It's the first implant in the game. I would say you want to get to rank 5. It's, as it says, high skill, high reward. It helps you train to hit headshots straight away. The implant gives you back 120 shields on rank 1 on a headshot kill, and up to 200 points at rank 5. The broken bit about this implant is the 10% of your maximum ability energy. This implant's going to be used on your, I think every class apart from engineer has the Assimilate. So for the amount of loadouts using this implant, it's very recommended that you max it out. To be a very good heavy assault player, you must have this implant maxed out. And I think apart from that, is there any questions about Assimilate and its functions and how it works?
I have a question, like in general. If we don't have it, what's going to be the loadout if we don't have it?
So what we'd recommend is if you okay, go on.
Continue.
I was going to say that if you don't have the implant, the easiest way to do it is either A, play a class where it doesn't affect you that much, which would be medic, participate in alerts, and either A, craft it if you don't get it from an implant pack from the basic directives. So if you do all the basic directives and don't get Assimilate, I would then say participate in alerts to get the ISO 4 needed to craft the implant, then level it up. There's basically no other option for some classes like heavy. Assimilate is, once you get it maxed rank, it'll probably be the most used implant. If that covers the question. I know it's going to be difficult to use without, but obviously you won't know the difference until you actually get it, so that's basically all I can cover about not having the implant anyway.
Yeah, it's good, thank you.
No problem. Any other questions about Assimilate? Okay, so we'll move on to Survivalist. Survivalist is going to be the implant which benefits if you want to be aggressive, if you get picked off easily, and it's basically the best one to keep you alive, as the name says. It's going to be very good as your second implant. It's going to be used on light assault, heavy assault, and possibly a medic loadout, I think, as well. It doesn't need to be rank 5. In my opinion, don't level it up to rank 5 unless you really want the 15% reload increase. Rank 4 Survivalist is very nice, and so is rank 1. The only difference between the two is the duration of your speed increase. So how Survivalist works is if you get shot and your 500 shields disappears, you'll then get this speed boost. So this speed boost will be 20%, which is the same at rank 1 as it is rank 5, for either 3 seconds or up to 6 seconds. The passive of this is it also reduces your shield cooldown by a second at max rank and 0.5 seconds at rank 1. Basically means that when you're not getting shot, your shields recharge the tiniest bit faster. It's got a 12-second cooldown, but that's a very short cooldown. It's not like Assimilate, which is active all the time. You'll basically have it up for every single fight that you have. Is there any questions about Assimilate and its uses? Sorry, not Assimilate, Survivalist. Okay, so we're going to move on to Combat Surgeon then. Combat Surgeon is the priority implant for Medic. It basically means that whenever you kill someone or whenever you revive someone, it restores your AoE heal. So that is the AoE heal that you use on your close range loadout, which isn't the shield bubble. The amount you get is depending on tier, so it starts at 15%, goes up to 30%. It's very good with revive grenades, because if you throw a revive grenade into a room, res the entire room, you're going to get your AoE heal up basically permanently for the next few seconds. Which means you'll constantly be healing and you can constantly shoot whilst doing it to even get even more AoE heal back. At rank 5 it becomes resistant to small arms. It's a bit more than nanoweave, so it makes you a bit tankier. Is there any questions about Combat Surgeon? Okay, cool. We'll move on to Mending Field. So, with Mending Field, it's due to not having to have an energy bar when using your deployable shield recharging field, you're going to need to use different implants. These implants are going to be Mending Field and Survivalist. The Mending Field allows you to basically have a AoE heal Mark II. It's a bit weaker, but the advantage of leveling up to max rank is your shield recharging field, your deployable, also carries the effect. So it basically means that you don't have to worry about anyone getting healed, because you can just put your shield recharging field down and anyone in that area is going to get healed and shield revived. So it will net you a lot of EXP just by being there. So it's a very passive implant. I think the biggest use is when the shield bubble is on one side of the room and you're on the other, and you've got basically a 14 plus meter range of you just automatically healing anyone in the room. But apart from that, there's no other uses with the implant. Is there any questions about Mending Field and how to use it?
May I add something up?
Yeah.
The Mending Field only heals until you reach 301 or 302 health on maximum rank, so it's not going to heal you up completely if you ran low on it.
Yes. It's basically just to make sure that everybody has a set amount of HP. So it's not going to be, as I said, it's not as good as the AoE heal, but it's basically, if you have the shield bubble, at least you've still got one. That's basically the implant's usage. Any other questions to add about Mending Field? Okay, so let's move on to Sensor Shield. Sensor Shield is quite self-explanatory. It basically means that when an enemy puts down recon, it means that you no longer appear on the map. And as from rank 5, if you rank up to rank 5, you're not going to be seen at 10 meters or whilst walking at all. So it basically means if you want to be stealthy, that's how you become, like, get to an enemy terminal and hack it, or get behind and flank people. It's useful on some light assault loadouts as well when you're running suppressor. Is there any questions about sensor shield? Okay, so moving on to salvage. If you want to play max, this is the implant that we recommend you max out first. It basically means that you can target low HP enemy maxes, kill them, and then get up to 800 health back at rank 4 and 50% HP back at rank 5. If you go from low HP max to high HP max, you'll eventually take out the entire room. It's very good with your NG because it means that you'll constantly be getting health back from killing low level maxes, and with the amount of maxes that some outfits use at the moment, picking off the low HP ones is going to be very helpful to you, and it'll make you very, very, very tanky. Is there any questions about salvage? No? Let's move on to ammo printer then. Ammo printer is going to be used when you're sniping and when you're driving. If it basically means that every so and so seconds you get back a full magazine of ammunition back. It works for the vehicle that you own, so if you're gunning a vehicle and have ammo printer, it's completely useless. The rank 4 is pretty good because it's only a 15-second difference between rank 4 and rank 5. There's not really much worth leveling up to rank 5 because of the ISO 4 costs. Is there any questions about ammo printer? Okay, so for the Sunderer. The Sunderer is going to be the basic vehicle that we request that you pull. The Sunderer is going to be used to deploy to create a fight. It's important that when you're about to deploy a Sunderer, you can't have anyone repairing you because you won't be able to deploy or undeploy. So if you're an NG repairing a Sundy and the guy says I need to undeploy, stop preparing for a split second. The gate shield diffuser, basically you trigger it and it allows you to pass through the vehicle shields. So it'll allow you to get into amp stations, past bases, and also blocks damage from ramming vehicles and lasts up to 15 seconds. Apart from that, the loadout on the left uses proximity repair, which repairs other nearby vehicles. It makes Sunderers very tanky if you have more than one Sunderer. And the one on the right has the deployment shield, where when deployed, which is the B key, you become very, very tanky. The recommended weapons are the stock ones. If you want to go full cheese and anti-infantry, you can spend 400 certs on cobalts, one for the front, one for the back. And if you want to do vehicle play with the Sunderer, I'd recommend you use fire suppression instead of gate shield diffuser to make yourself last a bit longer. Is there any questions about basic Sunderer loadouts?
I had a question for the anti-air guns.
Yeah.
The difference between the Basilisk and the anti-air guns, like what's the difference?
So basically, the Basilisk is the general gun. It does less damage, but it can shoot everything. It can do a lot of damage to enemy libs and enemy ESFs if they get too close. The thing about the AA guns is they're more deterrents. So if you start getting shot by, especially the Ranger, which has massive splash and like starts making a lot of noise, it'll cause basically scythes and reavers to instantly fly away. But if you come across a vehicle, you can't do anything. Whereas if you had a Basilisk, you'll actually be able to defend yourself slightly. That's basically the usage of the Basilisk and Ranger. Any other questions for the Sunderer? Okay, awesome. So some basic settings that you can change in Planetside to make your life a tiny bit easier. Those would be on, as shown on the screenshot, you can actually show your health numbers. It'll allow you to know how much HP you're on if you get damaged. Also sorting out the Empire colouring is a very important one. I can't show you it in a screenshot, but if you go to your keybinds and you change your minimap zoom in, zoom out, set one for auto run, and probably the highest recommendation is having your ability key. So if you have F set to a mouse button, especially your thumb button, so if you set it to the one that you have the most, you can basically activate it and unactivate it very quickly. Also, changing the buttons used for squad, platoon, team speak is quite important. It'll basically allow you to be more comfortable when trying to use voice chat. Is there any questions about settings? Okay, cool, let's go. The recursion stat tracker. Basically, recursion isn't recommended for new players because you don't need to care about your stats. Veteran players like myself like to use it to see like what KDM on, KPM, headshot ratio. The main use of recursion is either the voice packs when you kill people and the crosshair. The crosshair is going to be useful because it places a dot in the center of your screen. It allows you to basically quick scope easier. It allows you to spot enemies when you're in third person in a vehicle easier, and it's basically just better for your aim. Overwolf is along with TeamSpeak, so when you're in Planetside like now, some of you, if you're in Planetside, would be able to see my name in the top left corner. It basically means that it shows you who joins the chat, who leaves the chat, and who's speaking at the moment. It's good so you know who's who and what voice recognizes which person. The recursion stat tracker is working sort of. It's like been working up and down for the past few days. If you need to install recursion, I can go through it with you in a later time. At the moment it's a bit buggy and it takes a while to download. And that concludes the end of the training modules. The last few slides are some memes that we took whilst doing the module. But apart from that, is there any questions for the module overall?
In terms of the
questions?
Recursion,
Yes.
if it's buggy now, should I install it or not?
If needs be, I would say possibly, but there is other ways to get a crosshair on your screen. Recursion is just fun for the voice packs. You can set like your favorite character from a different game to like scream at you when you kill someone.
Okay.
Those type of things. But yeah, if you need to install recursion, I can go through it with you at a later time. Is there any other questions about the module? Okay.
Are there any
Awesome.
questions in general about the game or anything?
Yeah, any other
Anything
basic
we haven't
questions?
Why is there no hyperlink to no Sandy no fight in the presentation?
That
We'll
is a
have
good
to,
point.
Fix that. Yeah,
2 seconds.
Have to fix that.
If you need to wonder about which thing to cert out first, I know we haven't included that in the module. Basically, if you want to skip back to the Infantry loadouts, I'll actually go over that quickly. Because obviously I understand you're looking at a picture of a maxed out loadout. If we go back to medic to start, the basic weapon is good. The TAR is just a bit better in close range. The reason why we're recommending you to buy a weapon, you normally wouldn't recommend a new player to buy a new weapon, but because the TAR and other weapons like the MSWR are so good in close quarters, and since as most fights in Planetside are in close quarters, we recommend you buy it. The first thing you upgrade for the medic is obviously the medic tool, then you upgrade your AoE heal, then you get revive grenades, then you get grenade bandolier, then you buy C4, then you buy the TAR, and then you just gain certs. That's about it for the medic. For the shield bubble, you basically want to max out your CQC loadout as shown in the screenshot first, then you go on to your bubble loadout, because obviously your bubble loadout costs even more certs for the shield bubble, but apart from that the loadout stays the same, so it's quite cost effective. If we go to the heavy assault, the first thing that you want to buy is medkits. You want to buy your 4 medkits because medkits are bought for every single class in Planetside. If I buy medkits on my heavy, they go on every single class. The thing about C4 is if you buy C4 on your medic, you're not going to get it on your light assault, which is quite annoying, I've got to say. The second thing you buy for heavy will be your adrenaline shield. Buying that rank 1 is very, very, very nice. After you get rank 1 adrenaline overshield, you then buy the MSWR and the laser sight. You then kit out your MSWR with either a compensator or suppressor based on your personal preference. I find that maybe even using none is really nice. Buying an X1 sight and the soft point ammo. Then you want to finish by buying concussion grenades. Then you look into buying which launcher you like. You either buy the Decimator or the Striker. Then after you bought the 2 launchers, then you go into finishing your overshield, leveling up, and that is how you sort out heavy basically. Engineer's a bit more difficult because there's like 50 billion things to sort out. If you want it to be a max main and max buddy, you want to get your repair tool maxed first. Then you want to get the flak armor leveled up. Then you want to have your barrier. Then you want to get your Spitfire auto turret. And then you want to purchase sticky grenades. Or repair grenades, depending on how well you are with sticky grenades. Then with your vehicle loadout, you buy your tank mines first. Then you buy your repair grenades, and you should already have your Spitfire. Then you buy grenade bandolier to make your repair grenades even better. With the max, I basically recommend you do ordnance armor first. Then you do your fire suppression and emergency repair thing. Then you buy the guns. For the Infiltrator, you'll already have your medkits from playing heavy, so level up your dart tool, buy EMP grenades, level up your cloak a bit more, and then buy adrenaline pump if you want to be a bit faster. And that's how you level up Infiltrator as a basic one. For light assault, we basically recommend you buy C4 first, get flash grenades, and then level up your jump jets, and that's about it. And then you do your nano weave once you've finished with your jump jets. And that is basically a how to sort out first for each class. I'm sorry that I forgot to go over it when I was actually going through the class. It probably would have been a bit more helpful if I did it then, I know. Is there any questions about what I just mentioned? Okay, cool. That's the module over. Thank you for coming, guys. I shall see you later.
Thanks.